gusto, un saludo. Tenemos en este momento la visita de varios investigadores postdoctorales en la Universidad Andina Simón Bolívar, sede Ecuador, y me encuentro con el doctor Jovan Shopovski, quien es el presidente del Instituto Europeo Científico, quien con un grupo de investigadores postdoctorales se encuentran realizando una visita al campus de la universidad. Así que vamos a conversar con el doctor Jovan Shopovski en estos próximos minutos y vamos a mantener un diálogo en inglés. Jovan, welcome to Ecuador. We are very glad to have you among us and to visit our university. First of all, I wanted to ask you about what is the purpose of the European Scientific Institute? Because you gather a lot of researchers, professors, and staff for research around the world. So I want to know what is the purpose and what is the objective of the institution.
Thank you for having me. It would be my pleasure to do this interview in Spanish, but unfortunately at this moment I only understand Spanish, cannot speak, but let's hope for the next year to improve this. Anyhow, the European Scientific Institute was founded in Macedonia, a small country where I'm coming from. This is the Macedonian alphabet on my shirt. And it was founded in 2010 primarily on 4 pillars. That was interdisciplinary research, multicultural research, open access, and open science. That means that in developing countries, at that time when I was a PhD student, we were not able to read scientific articles because you should pay for it. For instance, 40 euros per one article, and that motivated us to found an organization that will promote completely different principles and will cooperate with other researchers that are sharing the same goals. And fortunately, after 14 years, I can say that we succeeded to cooperate with, to make official cooperation with 100 universities all around the globe, to organize over 100 scientific conferences. This is everything under open access and open science, to publish papers after peer review in 4 peer-reviewed journals of more than 50,000 researchers, and for the minimal costs. We are just trying to provide opportunities for all researchers, primarily early career researchers and researchers coming from developing countries.
It's very interesting about your point of view about open science, open data, open research. And I guess that research trends is going to promote what is open for information, for results, research sharing. So what is, do you think that the future of research is to promote open research? Or do you think that these multinational organizations are having the property of knowledge around the world?
Yes, at the moment, I would say, or let's say in the past decade, open access movement is winning. It's a winning concept. Even the greatest opposers, like corporative publishers, figured out the necessity that science should be available to all of us and to the public, and to make the most of it, to use the scientific results. And nowadays, even the opponents of this movement, they started to change their concept of pay-to-read model to be open access and to be available, the scientific results. So nowadays it is proven, scientific articles prove that open science and open access articles are even more cited. If, as the researchers, you publish open access, then you are more likely your research will be cited at higher rates than those that is behind paywalls. And I am really glad that major funders such as European Union, such as the United States Agency for Funding Research and Bill Gates Foundation, for instance, they stated that in their policies that nowadays it is not possible to fund research if the results are not published open access. So definitely not only the future but the present is open access and open science, and I am glad that this is happening, and I really believe that the results and science is beneficial for the society, and that the major outcomes are coming and will be visible.
Tomorrow, Universidad Andina will hold the first Andean Interdisciplinary Forum on campus. The forum is about social science, humanities, and education. According to your experience, what are the new trends of interdisciplinary view among these three sciences? Social, humanities, and education. What do you think the research are going in their coming trends?
Yes, one of the bases of our work is interdisciplinary research. It is one of the hot topics in the past decade, along with the open access, that it is proven that cooperation between different disciplines is necessary for some major achievements and for progress of the society. That's why in all of the projects nowadays, the requirements are different academic disciplines to be merged, and scientists coming from different academic areas to be network and work together in order to, let's say, extend the possibilities of the contemporary scientific opportunities and make more valuable results, achieve more valuable results. That's why our conferences are, from the very beginning, are focused on interdisciplinary research. How we do it? We are trying to make call for papers for different disciplines, and after that, from that pile, we are selecting separate conference sessions, and those conference sessions, we are trying to involve people from different academic disciplines, but with similar topics, because it is very challenging to really network completely different academic areas. But majority of the disciplines have joint dots that can be connected, and that the results will be, in the end, more valuable. That is why tomorrow the same concept is applied, will be applied here at our host university, and people will present various scientific papers in various academic areas such as economics, international relations, business, international trade. What else will be presented? Taxation, etc.
Okay, Jovan, your expertise is in taxation.
Yeah.
And also, maybe when we hear about taxation, we think first about corruption. We say, hey, where are my taxes going on? Right? Where are they going to use the national government? So, what is your point of view of taxation, especially in the Andean region and in Latin America? Because we have governance from the right and from the left, but many people perhaps do not believe too much in taxes. What do you think?
The main point is that similar challenges are affecting all the countries worldwide, or we in the taxation area that are working and publishing papers are saying that tax evasion is as old as taxes itself. So it is very old institute. It's very not so famous thing, because it undermines the affects and undermines the budget of the state and cannot function properly. So the higher the level of tax evasion, the lower the functionality of the institutions, and countries are taking different kind of steps and measures in order to prevent or to cope the level, to reduce the level of tax evasion. It cannot be reduced to zero level, but in developed countries are succeeding in reducing the level of tax evasion. That means that it is connected to various factors. It is not a single factor that affects tax evasion. We are researching the major factors in a single country. So there is no single recipe. In each country, different factors are on the top list as most influential to variables to tax evasion. That means it should be a strategy should be created on how to cope with this challenge, and according to the factors, the measures and actions to be taken. It's not an easy thing to do. Joint efforts between the institutions should be taken, and of course, tax morale tax morale is very important. Tax morale means when the volunteering willingness for the people to pay taxes. The higher the tax morale, the higher the trust in government, the lower the tax evasion.
That's good for common people, and I know that those strategies could function, but what happens with people who has a lot of money, millionaires? Yeah, is there any effective strategy to recover taxes, or that they have to pay taxes to be fair with the nation and with people in general?
There is no a magic pill to cope with these challenges, not a black and white. It's not non-binary thing. For instance, there is a lot of philosophical debate of progressive versus flat taxation. So there are benefits and disadvantages of both concepts. A country should make a strategy according to the tax moral of their people, should know the interests of people, the willingness to pay taxes, and to make the tax policy adequate. I will mention my country, Macedonia. For instance, when they lower right-wing politicians are always proponents of proportional taxation, flat taxation, and the lefts are that's the difference between left and right, are for progressive taxation. It doesn't necessarily mean that one concept is better than another. It depends on the circumstances. In my country, for instance, when the taxation was lower, flat, for instance, 10% for income tax and for corporate tax, the revenue was higher than when the government decided to implement progressive taxation, and it was the concept that failed. It was a very big mistake of the government, and after 1 year, they decided to get back to the flat taxation policies. So it is very important not to make this kind of mistakes. The tax policies should always rely on solid research, on analysis, and after that make changes, because each mistake could cost a lot, and these kind of mistakes always increase the level of tax evasion, and it's very difficult after, or maybe not possible, to get back to the same level or to make some progress.
Tax evasion is next to corruption. Corruption is a problem not only for the people, but also for national governments. Let's talk about the lecture you gave yesterday that many people here at the university attended yesterday about research ethics. Could you give some tips for the new researchers to be ethical in their practice? Literature review, methodology. Are there some tips that you could suggest them for these new researchers?
Yeah, definitely. It is quite interesting topic in the area of academic publishing, academic writing, and now it's a very contemporary topic in the West, let's say in the West Europe and the United States. Many of the institutions and universities are dealing with it and taking serious action in order to improve research and to frame it in some ethical framework in order to be relevant. Ethical research means honest research, transparent research. This kind of principles to be followed, and one of the recommendations is always to be approved by institutional review board. That's why the recommendation is each university to create its institutional review board, where each professor or student that wants to make research, to prepare a concept that will first be presented to that review board, and the review board to approve it. In that proposal that the researcher is presenting to the review board is described the scientific methods that will be used, the scientific analysis, the principles that will be followed during the research in order not to endanger someone's human rights or animal rights, of course, and through this procedure to achieve one transparent and honest process and to avoid potential infringements of these principles. Of course, that always some mistakes are possible, but this review board will handle this kind of disputes and allegations and that kind of stuff.
Is it possible to be an ethical researcher during artificial intelligence times? Because we have seen that there are a lot of researchers that are using, for example, ChatGPT, or they're using another types of tools like Rabbit or Chat PDF. So is it possible? Do you recommend to use this kind of tools, or there should be restrictions in the usage of IA?
Yeah, great question. Each radical change brings serious challenges. This is the example with the artificial intelligence. We are now facing lots of progress, or totally revolutionary thing in the area, especially of doing research. And I think a lot will be changed in the upcoming period and already happening. So it will be difficult to regulate this, fully regulate this, and many ethical challenges are looming. I would recommend, it is in a real thing, it is our reality. I would recommend usage of these algorithms. It can ease our lives as researchers, as students, definitely, but the consequences and the negative side effects should be always known and discussed. For instance, for the researcher, I'm always recommending to acknowledge the usage of algorithms, whether it is ChatGPT, it is BART AI, or Jenny, or whatever, to acknowledge the usage in a separate footnote in their texts, in their articles.
Ha sido un placer tener esta entrevista con el doctor Jovan Shopovski, presidente del Instituto Europeo Científico. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Peace.